Welcome
There
back
it
to the
is.
TBD podcast. We are back with literally possibly one of the main motivators behind even starting the podcast, bracketology in general. We say that as a loose sports term, but we all know this is the best time of the year besides Christmas. March Madness, it is my Christmas of sorts, but religiously speaking, not the case. Obviously, a man of faith, I will definitely adhere to my Christian ideals throughout all seasons and revere the holiday of Christmas, but we have a sacred time in sports history here as we get into March Madness. Conference tourney week right now, Selection Sunday looms on the horizon, and we look to see who is going to be crowned NCAA champion, and also who's possibly going to be shedding some tears, whether they get snubbed from the field or whether they have an early round exit that wasn't expected. But we're going to get into it, discussing just early thoughts, and then looking forward to next week, actually going into some deeper discussions on what is the bracket going to look like. And obviously, as y'all know, we are inerrant. We never make mistakes when it comes to predictions, especially not Hank. And so with NFL predictions. And so we were going to go ahead and give you next week the perfect bracket as well. So if you want that $1 billion from the tournament challenge with, what's that guy's name? The really rich guy. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Elon Musk?
Or whatever. Not Elon. He might be doing $1 billion.
Oh, Mark Cuban.
No, all right. Either way.
All right.
Neither of those guys. So, if you want the $1 billion though, seek out our channel and we'll be happy to provide that for you. But let's get into it.
Yeah. First off, I just want to comment on Keenan's beautifully tan skin and his teeth that actually shine through the night sky. As he look at it, oh my gosh.
I feel like I can't.
That's unreal.
Is that Crest? Is that Crest 3D?
No, that's man, what toothpaste do I use? I'm not even sure what toothpaste I use, but I'm not gonna give a sponsor.
Really? You don't know?
You don't know too well, Keenan?
I actually can't remember.
No, dude. Is it Sensodyne?
That's fine.
Okay.
No, I actually don't remember. But the tan is courtesy of Blue Mountain Beach.
True. Blue Mountain Beach, a goat beach. Don't go there because it's we don't want it to be more packed than it is, but we do love it. Yeah, man, it's the best time of the year. It's Christmas season. March 7th, 2023. We have, on the screen here, we do have, conference tournament championships going through. This is the chance of a lifetime for some of these guys to win the tourney and to go to the big dance. And I'm excited to see who we see some matchups this Sunday and where some of these mid majors fall. And man, you never know. There is definitely gonna be one, if not multiple, every year that's gonna shock the world, and we're gonna know their name. First Absolutely. One that comes to mind last year is gonna be St. Peter's beating Kentucky, but there's gonna be another one similar, and it's just that's what makes this and sports just so fun.
There's no other. I was thinking about this today. There's no other sport out there or league out there where you can literally have a terrible season, even win 0 games up until your conference tournament, and still have a chance at the end of the season to compete for a national championship or for a title. Yeah. It just doesn't happen, right? If you think about any professional league, you have to have a certain winning percentage to make it into the playoffs. And obviously in college football, it's that way. And you've got the World Series in baseball. And I think that's the most exciting part. If you're a fan of a mid-major or even a team like, that's on the bubble, you can control your own destiny with this win your own conference tournament, which is extremely exciting for the fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great point. The one team that comes to mind, this is a really random one, but I remember watching Cal Poly advance out of their conference, and they were 13-19 on the season, made the tournament, and they got absolutely waxed in the first round, but they made it, which is exciting.
They did make it.
And then you got other, UMBC is definitely another good example of, they actually had a pretty bad record as well, but still got the job done over Virginia, who, still needs to feel really bad, and also one of the most overrated teams this year. So
true. Definitely is. I will probably first or second round exit in most every bracket I choose. So I'm pretty excited for that.
I'd have to go back and look at the year Loyola Chicago made it, and then, they made a little run, but I would have to go back. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head if they would have made it into the tournament that year without winning their conference championship. But
surely not. Yeah.
It's one of those stories that, and obviously for the next, they made it back-to-back years. It made a little run.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those stories that it just takes a month of being hot and going on a streak, and you find yourself in the, on the big dance and on the big stage.
Yeah. That's true.
True.
Basketball Reference may be your best friend on that one, but
True.
they by the way, Loyola today losing and their tournament hopes are dashed for this year. Sorry, Loyola fans, if y'all are watching, but
Is
okay.
Sister Jean still living?
She is.
I hope. Oh, really?
Yep, she is.
Gosh,
Drinking from the fountain of youth, man.
I need to start sipping whatever she's sipping, because she's
Yeah,
living forever.
she's wearing sunscreen and she's getting that sun in the eyes in the morning. I think that vitamin D. If y'all didn't know, that's really helpful. So get that vitamin D in the morning. You got to go out, no sunglasses in the morning, and just take in that sun rays, and you can improve your cognition, mental health, a lot of different things. So
Andrew Huberman, look up the Huberman Lab podcast. You can find all of our sources there.
Oh my goodness me.
And yeah, Hank's a big proponent of that as well. If you didn't know, he's actually an ambassador for sunlight in the morning.
I'm actually a sole proprietor of that idea.
Sole proprietor. That's really good. Yeah, we're kind of having a tough time finding this year.
Sorry, boys. I'm really struggling.
Dude, Basketball Reference. Come on,
really
go ahead. Loyola Basketball Reference.
All right.
Basketball Reference, by the way, shameless plug. Hopefully they don't get mad at me for plugging them, but insane statistical database. I don't really know how they do it. So
and if they want to sponsor the podcast, they're more than happy to throw them on the sponsorship. If anybody from,
I love Reference, this stupid Basketball Reference, Football Reference, whatever you want to do. Gosh, it's an amazing site. Top 10 site of all time. Here we go.
Okay. 2018, 2019.
Yeah, they were really good. Holy crap. 26-5.
Oh wow. The year that they went to the Final Four.
32-6.
32-6.
Okay, so they were actually really good. I take that back. They probably would have made it.
So this Drew Valentine character is not as good for him. Let's say that. As Porter Moser was.
Porter Moser.
Clayton Custer. Man.
There they are.
Towns was the dog for them. Marcus Towns.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He was the dog for him.
And then
but Krutwig was the goober. Yeah. Lucas Williamson was pretty good for him too. Yeah. So did those guys.
Yeah, they did go on a run and beat Tennessee on the way to the Final Four. And that was, it was a miserable game for us as Tennessee fans, but we got, they deserved it. So.
They got the job done. For sure. Sorry, bro.
Yeah. Do we want to look at some bubble teams?
Yeah, let's look at some bubble teams.
All right, I'm gonna pull up the CBS one, and then we can go to the ESPN bracket. These are the current bubble teams.
And then I've got a surprise for both of y'all at the end.
All right, beautiful. These are the bubble teams currently that are in. Here we go. These are the bubble.
According to Jerry Palm.
There you go.
So this is Jerry Palm, CBS Sports Bracketology. Last 4 in, and the first 4 out. So
yeah,
Keenan, your wish has come true currently. With Penn State being at the top of that list, falling out
5-1 in our last 6 games. Really should be 6-0 in our last 6 games if we don't drop the ball versus Rutgers. We face Illinois first round of the conference tourney. I feel with a win, 100% in. If we lose, I still think we're in, but it's you may be in a play-in game, for sure.
Yeah.
But that can be an advantage. That can actually be an advantage. Teams have actually done pretty well off play-in games. Sometimes it gets them a little momentum. So
it's true. It's true.
You don't want to sweat it out, but if you get there, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I think it is a fairly big surprise. I hate to say this is that, maybe North Carolina is last 4 out and Michigan is in. I don't think Michigan has looked very impressive at all this year. I haven't gotten the chance to look at Oklahoma State or Arizona State much. I don't know if you have any thoughts on them.
I actually, and Hank, you don't have to, but I actually think this is where I do like ESPN's takes on this a little bit more. That may be a little bit more helpful for you.
We get some more teams here as well.
I agree with that a bit more. The one thing that I'm not sure on this is I just don't really know about getting the 2 Mountain West teams in for the last 4 in. Utah
Yeah,
State and Nevada. It's just maybe pick one, maybe coin flip it. I don't know. I hate to put it that way, but
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say it, but is Boise State going to be heading to the tourney and going to be doing be putting up a good game?
I mean, they're a better Mountain West team resume wise than Utah State and Nevada, but I mean, only thing I can say is Nevada did have a nice tournament run, but they did have Eric Musselman at the helm during that time. So I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, hey, their next head coach could be the next head coach at an SEC school, maybe Ole Miss.
That's true, possibly Ole Miss. I mean, I heard Chris Beard might be heading there though. So
I actually did hear that too. That'd be a unique look for the university.
Kind of a hot spot to go to Ole Miss right now. I heard there's a guy in Birmingham who's being recruited there as well.
Yeah, I was hearing it's looking pretty nice for Bucky to be heading there. Bucky McMillan from Sanford.
Bucky McMillan, Sanford University.
If we've got any Birmingham natives who have an inside source on that, we would love to maybe even bring you on the podcast and hear what you have to say on that, because we've heard both sides of we've heard both sides of the track. We've heard that he's never leaving Birmingham ever, doesn't matter who's coming after him. And also have heard that he's highly considering going to Ole Miss. So would love a reputable inside source on that.
Yeah, and if I were him, I love his respect for Sanford, but I'd probably head to Ole Miss. I mean, you get the bigger program, you're just trying to advance the career. So I would probably do it if I were him, but I would love to keep him at the same time.
Yep. That's great.
That's great.
That's great. I mean, that's great. Look, man, I'm happy for him. And Ole Miss is an absolutely terrible basketball program, but maybe he can turn him around.
Well, he turned around Sanford, and we weren't looking too hot either. But
we were horrible.
True, we were an absolute trash.
But the SoCon is a completely different battle than going up against the likes of the SEC. But still, winning is winning.
Yeah, not to be too much of a Debbie Downer too, but Sanford still is one of 3 SoCon teams to never make the NCAA tournament from the SoCon specifically. They did make it as part of I already forget the name of their conference that they were in before, but still gunning for it. Yeah, it leaves my head as we speak, but it does not exist anymore.
Clemson's such a fascinating team for me as well this year. And I think this year more than ever, at least that I can remember, there's just been, at least the top 25 has been so humble jumbled with teams coming in and out of the top 25, teams not being consistent, losing pretty consistently. And I remember at one point in the season, Clemson kind of went on a little run, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously you can see their record there on the left. They go on a little run there. I don't know. I don't see the dates there, but look at that. They go on what does it look like, a 7-game win streak, beat Duke, and then lost to Wake Forest. But they were on a nice little, I don't know, that was like a 12. It looks like a 12-1 stretch there, where they were looking pretty hot, and then kind of went on a 3-game losing streak there. I don't know. They're just a fascinating team to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely of the party of I guess there's so much analytics that I can understand, but at some point I actually really do respect total wins, especially as part of a big conference like the ACC, which as of late has been disrespected more and more. But at the same time, we see last year 2 of the Final 4 teams were from the ACC, even disrespected last year. And so obviously Clemson maybe doesn't pass all the metrics tests, but having it 22 wins and that amazing win percentage in conference play, it's more compelling in my eyes to put a team in like that than a team like Michigan or some of these other Big Ten teams that they were talking about that have 17 wins. 17 and 14, man. I'm not a big fan of the 17 and 14 record getting you into the tournament. No offense. You got to be a little better than that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be able to win barely more games than you lose and still make a case. I know the schedule's tough, but
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head this past weekend, Graham. I think you either said 22 or 23, if I'm not mistaken. 22. If you're a Power 5 school and you have 22 wins, there's a good chance, in my opinion, you deserve to be in the dance. I mean, to go and play the conference schedule, all the Power Five is going to be fairly equal on any given year. You know, obviously you're going to have the SEC looks really good this year, in my opinion. I think the Big Ten is down over past years, but for the most part, you go and win 22, 23 games in your conference, you're a pretty solid team.
Yeah. I think one thing that will be helpful is I know this team was on the bubble, but it looks like Charleston's going to actually snag their auto bid for their current tournament as we speak. They have a 5-point win or 5-point lead with 30 seconds left. So that actually helps the bubble teams right now.
That's right,
because if let's say Wilmington won tonight, they would get the auto bid, and Charleston still has maybe a case for that final spot. But Wilmington has no case at all. So
Charleston's good.
You know, if you're in the bubble, and this is something that I want to get into. This is alluding to the surprise that I have for y'all. But if you're on the bubble, you want the 1 seed from every single conference tournament to win. Like, or at least a really high seed from the conference tournaments, especially when it comes to those mid-major teams that some of them have a chance or a case, such as the Colonial, where Charleston has a case. I know Florida Atlantic has a case. You know, you want those teams to go ahead and win so that they have the auto bid. That way, you know, they don't have a chance for an at-large bid and somebody else steals that auto bid. That steals away bubble spots for these teams that likely aren't going to win their conference tournaments. You know, UNC's, Michigan's, Rutgers's, you know, and that's not a new argument, but I think they're rooting for these, you know, teams that finish real high in their conferences to get the job done.
Yeah, it feels like that would be kind of at some point, you know, say you did have a great team like College of Charleston this year. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, Graham. You said you were looking at the score, but it looked like a tight contest at the end of their game, and they lose that game. That, you know, I would say they're not going to make the tourney.
Probably aren't in.
And you know, a 30 win season, not making the tourney. I mean, even for a conference that's not you know, even for just a mid-major conference, and that is incredibly impressive. Like, you cannot tell me otherwise. I mean, the year Loyola Chicago went to the Final Four, they were 32-6. I mean, if they don't win their conference tourney, they don't make it either.
Murray State actually didn't win their conference tournament when they had Cameron Payne on their roster a few years before Ja Morant. Definitely 28 plus wins, and Belmont beat them by 1, I think, in the conference tournament, and they didn't make it.
Yeah, Murray State didn't make it. I kind of agree, because at some point you win that many games, you're a very, very solid team. And then, like you said, with the Michigan, I mean, 17-14. I mean, give me if they make the tourney, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, that's too low for me. I mean, I think once you start getting to 19 and you have a decent bit of difference and you have a great resume, but again, 17-14, you have barely won. You know, you lose one more game there, and you could have had a 16-15 season. That just sounds terrible. I mean, you're barely above 500 at that point.
True. I completely agree. And 3-11 in quad 1 games. You're not beating good teams. You know, if you're looking at just from this, you look at an Iowa State and an Oklahoma State. Look at an Oklahoma State. They're 6-11. They got 3 extra quad 1 wins. That seems like a no-brainer to me. That how would Michigan even be in a conversation to go in over them? Obviously, I think Iowa State has a better record overall, and obviously having 9 quad 1 wins is extremely impressive.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, and that just kind of goes to show the Big Ten, in order to garner the respect that they hope that they deserve, they're going to have to do better in the tournament. They've been, I mean, I think they've been pretty bad. I know Michigan made it to the final that 1 year, but
I could be wrong. I think I saw this. I think there is. Hank, would you mind pulling up the Big Ten standings right now? I think there may be a 7-way tie for second place. I'm not kidding. And the record ain't good. Yeah, look at that. Look. Conference. We got a 12-8, 12-8. Okay, so we got Indiana Northwestern up there now. But
so what happened with Michigan State? Do they still have a regular season game to play? What happened there?
No, I think
cancellation. Okay,
cancellation.
So did they just automatically get higher because they got the canceled game?
Unfortunately, they did.
Oh, that's kind of brutal. That's kind of brutal. I'm not sure what team they played. So.
You know, and unfortunately for them, it's not going to matter too much. But
are they in Michigan State?
No,
I think they are.
That's right.
I think they're in.
No, I don't think so.
Can you command F or no? Yeah, they
I
are.
can- I
Six
can-
seed, bro.
Oh
Des
my
Moines,
gosh.
What?
Michigan State.
Come on.
That has to be Tom Izzo
Dude!
bias. That's history biased right there.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
They're a 6 seed. I didn't even think they were in.
yeah, it's okay.
All right. If this is the matchup, I'll be honest, I'm picking the 11.
Oh, Mississippi State. Especially if it's
Oh.
Mississippi State, their defense, man, suffocating. Tolu Smith.
I'm telling you, not that I don't think Illinois is great this year. If you look at the top right-hand corner, Birmingham, number 8 seed. If Illinois wins that game and has to play Alabama in round 2, that's a one to watch. If that ends up being an actual matchup,
Oh, really?
Illinois could make a little run there. I think not deep, but I think they could fight alongside Alabama. I think Illinois may have beat Arizona at the beginning of the year and looked hot to start out the season. I think they had some trial, and gratefully Penn State beat them twice this year. But
Yeah.
But
Well, I think that's a good point. Bama has. I really don't want to trash on them. They've been great. They've been really bad in non-conference games. I'm not gonna lie. Like they got waxed by Oklahoma. Yeah, some of these other games. I know UConn has done really well. They easily got beaten by them. Got beat by Gonzaga. I know they had the Houston win, amazing win there. But like that is a cause for concern. I agree. If they get that Illinois matchup, they haven't been too good in these non-conference games. Whereas teams like Tennessee destroyed Kansas, destroyed Texas. A team like Missouri destroyed Illinois. But Bama doesn't seem to have that, for whatever reason, that ability to do that. So I don't know why that is, but it is definitely something I'll have my eye on for sure in the second round.
Yeah, it's gonna be unique. The Michigan State one, that makes me a little sad, but that's all right.
that high.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little crazy to me.
All right, Charleston has officially won the game, so they are the auto bid for the Colonial.
That's awesome.
Conference.
For them.
And also shout out to Northern Kentucky. They just won the Horizon Championship. So Youngstown State, let's just let y'all know, if any of y'all's fans are on here, that y'all did not. Y'all were the 1 seed and y'all really choked. Y'all didn't make the final.
And just to let y'all know, Penguin fans, if there are any watching, which I assume there never will be, I am so happy that Youngstown State didn't make it. They were actually rude.
Terrible
and
fans.
Possibly, I don't want to make too many claims, but I did see a tweet from Antoine Davis, the second highest leading sport in NCAA history, that they were possibly being a little bit racist even towards him, some racist remarks. And, that is obviously terrible. And as a matter of fact, it could not have made me, and I would say all of us, happy that they were easily knocked out in the next round. And it wasn't too close of a contest. I think they lost by about 8 to 10. So it was so great. And I just wanted to put that out there. Didn't even get close, didn't make the final. So they're not going to make it this year. They're going to be packing their bags and heading home. So back to Ohio, by the way. So, all right, that's all I had to say about Youngstown State. And so I'm excited for what was the
shout out to Northern Kentucky.
Northern Kentucky. All right, Northern Kentucky. I actually love Northern Kentucky. Louisville, go Louisville. Even though they actually stuck this year in basketball. Louisville type teams, city, Northern Kentucky. They take it home. The city of Louisville loves Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, considering Louisville went 4-28, I think Northern Kentucky is a little better than them this year.
True. And actually, if we're looking for another bubble team to kind of keep our eyes on over or the next tournament, Louisville has got to be on top of our list.
Dude.
Hey, beauty of college basketball, man. They go on a little hot streak here. Win the
well, they already lost today by 18. They're out. They're out. Yeah, they lost by 18 today to Boston College.
Wait, that tournament already started?
The first round already started today. They lost by 20. So
dang it.
Oh gosh.
Bad on my part. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
That being said, though, I actually did make a bet that if LSU was to win the SEC tournament, I will give our good friend Copeland Pettit-Fills $500 cash, which actually is for me, and he said, oh, okay, and in payment, if they don't win it all, he will be repaying me with some alcoholic beer, some alcoholic beverages, some beer. So, in all honesty, I don't really care for the beer that much, but I will say it was a deal I had to make. It was a no-brainer deal, unfortunately. Similar to the Louisville, as much as I would love to see it, sometimes some of the teams, the cards are not in their favor. And
Yeah.
I guess
LSU's bad.
we'll see. We'll see what LSU is able to do. There is a possibility that I may be at the game tomorrow night. I don't know what time they play, but I could be at one of the games tomorrow night. So
Wow.
depending on that, maybe we'll be able to see my bet come to fruition in person. But if they were able to win, I'd be a little nervous.
Possibly can watch Arkansas Auburn. So let me know.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Wait, no, that's not tomorrow. All right. Are y'all ready for the surprise though? I know we don't have too much time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I started rambling there.
No, I figured you guys would enjoy this surprise here. Can y'all see here? All right,
We
not
sure
this. Not this. So sad conference tournament losses thus far through 3-7. So this is what I'm talking about with these top dogs losing in the conference tournaments. It's brutal for the bubble teams, but Liberty from the ASUN took the L. Happy for Kennesaw State. I don't think they've ever made it before, so it's pretty amazing for them. They also,
I'm so happy about that.
Terrible last year. The only thing that is sad from a March Madness perspective is Liberty had Darius McGee on their team, and he's top 5 in the nation in scoring per game. I think he averages about 22 a game, so not going to get to watch that guy in March Madness as he probably would have cooked. Eastern Washington from the Big Sky, easily their best team. Not really sure what happened in theirs, but I don't really know a lot of other Big Sky teams. I think Montana State is their next best bet. Bradley, I know this one's tough for Keenan from the MVC. They absolutely walloped Drake on the final regular season game of the season, and then Drake, returned the favor there in the final of the conference tournament, sadly. But Drake is still great, so I don't think that one's too much of an issue. Merrimack, actually, I was monitoring this. They won their conference tonight over Fairleigh Dickinson, but they are not eligible for the tourney yet as they're transferring in from D1 or D2 maybe. And so Fairleigh Dickinson with the loss tonight, even still making it. So that kind of is unfortunate for them. They won their conference outright with record and the conference tournament. So one regular season and conference tournament, not allowed to advance.
What is a rule there? You have to be
some sort of
one.
Yeah, I think
year?
there might be 1 year removed. I think that happened to Bellarmine last year, actually. Bellarmine, I think they won their conference tournament.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah. Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah, that one's tough. And then a couple more. Morehead State, easily their OVC's best team, only team I think that could have possibly caused any sort of upsets. Instead, you're getting SEMO out of their conference, who's just not very good, to be honest with you. So that will not be a win for them, whoever they match up with. And then Sanford UNCG, I mean, for us personally, the Sanford loss to Chat was devastating. Admittedly, they did get their best player back who hadn't played since January 18th, started playing in the conference tournament. And then Jamal Johnson went absolutely electric from 3, not 6 for 7. Chat still almost hung in there with Furman, but shout out to Furman. They hadn't made the tournament since 1980. So I didn't really realize that. So good,
Which is so surprising. They've had some good squads over the last couple of years.
Yeah, they lost on a half-court buzzer beater last year, which I was really happy about. But they did make it this year. So
Jean Baptiste, the GOAT.
Jean Baptiste. Last things, Southern Miss and Marshall losses. They were the top 2 teams in the Sun Belt, both lost in the Sun Belt. Especially Marshall had 2 guys on their roster averaging above 20 points per game. I think that would have been pretty interesting to watch during March Madness. But we got Lafayette. That's who won. I'm not sure how good they'll be, but we'll see. And then Hofstra, Copeland. And then Hofstra from the Colonial. Charleston got the job done, so I think that's the best team. But Aaron Estrada, I think, is like 2 or 3 on scoring per game, also averages 22 like Darius McGee. So again, we're just kind of missing out on some teams here with really, really amazing scorers, and then just teams with really, really amazing regular seasons. And the reason I bring this list up is I think a lot of these teams would have been solid Cinderella picks, but they just didn't get the job done in the crunch time. So maybe a team like Kennesaw State, a team like Drake, a team like
Furman.
Furman for sure. They're already the best team. I just wanted to mention these 2 because I think both these teams were great as well. But even a team like Charleston too. Those are going to be good teams. I just think we're missing out on the possibility of, I was going to say a possibility of a guy like Max A. Smith for Oral Roberts, but they're still in it, so he probably will be back.
Yeah. True. Well, I think it would be interesting to do a deep dive into the previous underdog Cinderella type teams and looking at, do they have that dog on their team that's going to carry them and lead them? I would
would say
argue
yes.
they probably would, because it takes a dog. Somebody's going to drop 25 plus points and knock you over the edge to beat a top tier team.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough about these other teams, but it sounds like we lost a couple of those opportunities with some guys who were some real high scorers.
Especially with Liberty and Hofstra, like I said, just those guys averaging 22. We do have a chance with a guy from, I think the leading scorer for Pennsylvania is insane. I forget his name. His game leaves me, but he's averaging a ton. Sadly, Antoine Davis will not be playing in the tournament, averaging 28, but maybe he'll get a.
Too bad he couldn't transfer somewhere real quick.
I know. So I looked at the list. There's some guys. I mean, UC Davis has a guy, but honestly, we've got some big teams that have really top scorers. When you look at like Purdue and Kansas, and some of these teams actually have really, really high scores, which is pretty awesome.
Definitely. So. Yeah, Graham, thanks for putting this together for us. I've definitely good to see the sad losses. And to be fair, I'm gonna need this list next week when I'm actually gonna pick. I will pick against every single higher seed than a 1, 2, or 3 that won the conference tournament. I'll pick against them, every single one of them. And that's not really even a hot take, because they're going to be the extreme low seed. But
that you may pick a 13 over a 4.
Sorry,
you said you may pick a 13 over a 4 though.
I might be willing to, but in this example, Morehead State, who won the conference in the OVC?
SEMO. So Southeast Missouri State. Yeah.
No chance I'm picking them. No chance I'm picking SEMO. See that I'm going to need this list next week when some of these
don't pick Fairleigh Dickinson as well. They're not going to be very good. I mean,
these are pretty
whoever comes
easy
out of the Big Sky, I don't think is going to be very good. But some of these other bigger conferences are like honestly, Kennesaw State, I probably won't pick them either. But team like Furman, team like Drake, both of those, team like Charleston, we'll look at them for sure. Florida Atlantic as well. I don't want to be too trendy with my picks though, too.
Oh, definitely not.
Sometimes
but we will definitely be back next week. It's going to be arguably one of the best weeks of the year, picking brackets, talking about upset picks. Who do we think is going to the round of 32, the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final Four, and then the Elite Championship game, and who's going to win it all in the big dance this year. Man, it's going to be fun. We're going to definitely have the hot takes. I think just the nature of the tourney, we're going to disagree a lot. So it's going to be a lot of good conversations. And a lot of talk about our teams too, and where we see them going. And I'm stoked about it.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Like Graham said,
go ahead.
If you're looking for that perfect bracket, come
back
back next
further.
week.
Let's just say, I don't really know. It's kind of like saying you're humble, but let's just say we know ball.
Yeah, and ball don't lie for us either.
Ball don't lie. And so
shout out to St. Peter's and Oral Roberts both playing tonight. Former Cinderellas. Oral Roberts is up by 20 in the final of their conference tournament, and St. Peter's is up by 4. So in the first round, they're not very good this year, but it's fun. It's fun. So it's been real.
Has been.
We're going to be back with some real data analysts next week as well. I know Hank is a data analyst, but we're going to be back with some sports analysts as well. So look forward to it.
Absolutely.
Best time of year.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed it, boys.
Peace, love, and blessings.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.